Oh my god. Salute to just the city of Philly in general. Uh, this post that came across the timeline. YN teacher, and for all of you at home, I hope you know what YN stands for. YN teacher addresses some criticism he received from his original video. And maybe we'll see the original video, or maybe we'll just hear their explanation of it. But there's a few things to scroll in here. Apparently, this teacher posted fits. Oh, I guess that's the original video. Fits of the week as a YN teacher. So let me already say I am coming into this with a bias. So if we understand where I am, I try not to have biases when it comes to things. I typically don't have biases, but there's one thing I've on record that I don't really like is the young new age teachers. I'm fake old. I grew up in a time where all my teachers were middle aged and or not old heads. And the most important thing is there was a disconnect from our ideals, our views. I couldn't relate to my teachers on any real significant, meaningful way. And that's what I'm used to. So when I see some of these newer teachers and they really try to really be connected with these kids, especially we grew up on movies like Freedom Riders. What's the other one? I guess even the one with Robin Williams. What did you quote?
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the.
What's the quote from that movie? I'm sorry, I'm not as cultural.
Is it the?
Is it dope? Is it dead?
Or am I thinking of a different one?
Dead Poets Society?
The Poets Society?
The one South Park parody.
Maybe.
Or is that a band?
No, it's
definitely a movie.
Anyway,
I was thinking of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The teacher.
That's one of my favorite movies, but I really don't remember that. But the moral of the story is, I'm used to teachers being a certain way.
Stand and deliver. That's what it is.
But I am acknowledging that that's everyone's gonna have different experiences, and the crazy part is, but even before we play the video, you can already tell the little kids he probably teaches. You can talk about the deaths. They are relatively young students. They love him. They think of him as the cool type teacher. So you can already tell that from his actual student perspective, he's definitely a favorite teacher. I guess let's see the original video. It looks like he was just doing one of those what I'm wearing today videos. And for those who are listeners only, he's really just wearing a black t-shirt, kind of a gym tee, and he's wearing joggers. I guess you would say he looks like he could be getting into some trouble. And also, to give a general characteristic of him, again, this is getting kind of profile-ish, but he's a brother. Low fade. Look like he got a little bit of waves, but not really. He got a little scruff beard, and he got tats all up on his arms. He basically look like he just got out of jail. If we keep it, not to get this is not any type of biased, bigoted things, but he definitely looks like he's done a bit. Just keeping it above.
Yo, low key, minus the tats and the fit, he kind of looks like you, Quest. Just a little bit.
You talking about his build too?
I mean, maybe the build, but facial features, I see some similarities.
Well, the good part is, me, I'll take one step further. This brother is relatively handsome, so. Although, I can't tell how tall he is. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, what do you think makes sense? Is to watch the original video or just his explanation? Get right to it.
I want to watch the original. See what he did.
Go ahead.
Be quick, I'm assuming.
Who's calling that? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who?
My copyright. Turn that audio off.
Hey. Is it Stacy?
Hate that song so much too.
So, oh my god, this is a teacher. He definitely like a Nike Tech type of guy. Why is he in the classroom doing this? This is the first fit where he looks like a teacher. I don't know about.
What?
You see? This is what I
What
was
is?
talking about earlier.
No. I've never heard of this one before. I know a decent amount of. Yo,
You see?
what the hell is
You see
that?
what I'm saying?
What is
You see
that?
what I'm saying?
I'm trying to find a way to articulate this to the listener only audience. Basically, he's going through the weekday of his fits, and these are some young ninja fits. I'm gonna be honest with you, like especially Wednesday. Like if you walk into a room, I wouldn't be able to tell he's a teacher. Don't teachers at least have like the lanyards like that you can identify like? And again, why is he doing something? And he's doing this inside the classroom. The kids are obviously not in the classroom when he's doing these fit videos, but he's doing it inside the classroom. So I don't know if obviously where your minds are at, but I think it's blatantly obvious why he would receive some level of criticism, especially if he has, especially if he's again a teacher of super young kids and parents are catching wind of this. So let's see what the brother has to explain. There's like 2+ videos of him explaining. So hopefully he gets to the main points in the first one, so we don't have to hear all of it. But let's see what he has to say for himself. Start from the beginning.
What's up, guys? So it was a lot of misconceptions in my previous video, so I wanted to come on here and talk about that and let y'all know more about me as a teacher and as a person. Before we get started, I want you guys that didn't know what they was talking about to grab a notebook and a pencil. My name is Taj. I go by the name Thorough Taj, a YN teacher. In the school, the kids call me Mr. Brooks. I graduated high school at 17. I graduated college at 21. Who you know graduating high school at 17 and college at 21?
These are my students. This is my class. I am currently in a master's program to be a certified teacher.
I'm not a PE teacher. I'm not a teacher A. I'm not a teacher assistant. I'm a second grade teacher. The meaning of YN is young nigga or young. That's why I call myself a young nigga teacher, because I'm young and I'm 23 years old. Compared to all these other teachers, back in the day, it used to be teachers that was way older than us younger.
I'm gonna be honest. Well, I'll ask y'all before we delve into this. This is kind of a sporadic thing, so bear with us, listeners. What are we feeling about this in total as far as right now? Who's on his side? Who's rolling? Who's rocking? Ace? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I'm rocking with it so far.
Okay, you have no problem sending your young kids to this brother.
Yeah.
Okay, Ghost, what are you thinking so far? You're the youngest out of all of us.
If my teacher is calling himself Thorough Taj, I got some problems, bro. I had to look this one up, but apparently Thorough, Urban Dictionary, yeah, I'm feeling old right now, used to describe anything that's good, bussin', underrated, calm, slept on, or respectable. It's something just thorough, it's solid, even if people underlook it. I've never heard of that in my life. But that's the definition of thorough, apparently.
I would have thought it was his name.
I got problems with this.
Fair enough. And Wes, what about you? Are you giving him you giving him a pass so far?
No, no.
What do you mean? Didn't you?
I don't know.
Didn't you just hear his credentials?
You gotta hear him out a little bit more. Like
maybe, but he's young in a bad way. Like
you a grown man calling yourself YN, like dog.
He's 23.
I think
we saw the chart. We saw the age chart. Who was the YNs?
He could still be in college. Like
if you were in college, you're not a YN, dog.
But
if you say so, I don't know the language.
I think I agree with Quest. Well, I don't know if this was his point, but our teachers were always pretty old. And the disconnect in the generations allows you to give them something that they don't see in their own generation. And it allows you to give them a perspective that's not really their own. But if you're at their same level, what are you What are you spurring them on to?
We're
What are
talking
you
about
motivating
second
them?
graders compared to
Oh,
23-year-olds.
fine, fine. But no, fine. You're right. But like, I don't know. I we have to watch more and I have to articulate
Okay,
ourselves better.
okay.
But
I just want to get a general vibe.
I'm not saying he's
So,
a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad teacher. Like I'm
nobody's
not
saying
saying
he's a
any of
bad
that. Like,
teacher, but
but and I'm not saying necessarily I'd be mad if my kids went to him. I'd like to have a conversation with him, but that's neither here nor there. But we can continue.
okay. Let's see what else. Okay, okay.
I'm from Philly. I'm a Philly nigga. This how I talk. This how I walk. This how I move. When I come into the school setting, I keep it professional. I don't be in the school going around calling myself a YN teacher, or I don't call the kids YNs. So this is for y'all entertainment. I'm from the hood, but I don't be in the streets and I don't move in the streets. I'm a black educated YN. I'm just representing myself as a young black teacher. Not today. I'm in a meeting right now, okay? Some people had a problem on what I wear to work. Right now, I'm dressed comfortable now. I like dressing comfortable to work. You can wear anything to work. I'm in Philly. It just has to be appropriate. I don't know about any other state, but I know in Philly, you can dress however you want. And I feel like what I wear to work, I feel like the kids like it. When I come in, the kids, they'll tell me, oh, they like this, they'll like that. A middle schooler, he came up to me at the end of the day. He asked me, how can he make bread? Inspiring kids. I'm motivating them. Wow.
Okay. All right. So
No, I just gotta say the funniest part of this is you saying that he doesn't talk like this in front of the kids for our entertainment, and then we immediately hear a kid in the background. I'm sure he was just walking by.
I feel like that was I feel like that was intentional. I hope
Yeah,
it was intentional.
maybe.
yeah, I can't 100% tell. But okay, so he's breaking down. This is just like rappers always say. Not calling him a rapper, but just like performers always say. This is I'm just putting on the show for the internet. In my day to day, I'm nothing but professional, and he's also attributing to his look and his style as far as this somewhat persona to his environment where he grew up, and he's just basically acting his age and his I don't know about the age part. He's just acting himself, which we all
kind of swayed me a little bit.
We all
I
want
can
to
kind of
promote.
see him at this point a little more.
We all want to promote people who just be themselves. I don't know why. I feel I don't want to give away my entire thing, even though I'm still saying on what I said earlier. I feel as if he'll make a lot of good points, but then he'll throw something in. Like I don't know why he needed that anecdote about why a kid came up to him and said, "How do I get bread?"
Yeah,
that
was.
I definitely believe it happened. A young junior high student in Philly. I definitely could believe that happened. I just don't know. You could potentially make a case that you're maybe not as professional as you think you are if a kid's coming up to you and talking to you like that. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what. Oh, you have something?
I mean, do we want to discuss that full out? Because I kind of have an opinion on that.
Yeah, if you have a quick opinion on that particular aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the positive value I could see in that is if the kid is comfortable enough to ask him how he can make money, the teacher, as a teacher, you would expect that he would give him advice that would lean towards, if not be fully like endorsing increasing his level of education. So like the way I see it is like by him appearing more approachable than than other teachers per se, like maybe they see him as like a figure that they can go to for like more personable advice or whatever, outside of just seeing him as like this strict teacher or whatever that it's just come in, do your thing and leave, like more as a role model type thing. So that could be the positive in my mind.
I understand
being
that.
a positive role model for young black kids.
I understand that, and this might even turn into a conversation. Like I know we had it several times or a couple times about like how our view on like what a good teacher is, and Wes, you definitely have some really good takes on like what makes a really good teacher. But I'm specifically talking about the way in which a student would approach you. again, you can be a positive teacher and a role model and someone that students come to. I'm specifically talking to the point where uh, like what he said literally happened. A kid came up to him and said, "How do I make bread?" That's I'm looking at that in the lens of he said, "I'm nothing but professional when I'm in school." Those two things don't match up in my mind. If a kid came up to you and said, "Hey, I want to get into like entrepreneurship. Do you have any recommendations on how I can start
But I
making
mean,
money?"
come on, hold on. We talking about a middle schooler. You think a middle schooler is gonna be like, I'm interested in entrepreneurship? No, he's not gonna say that.
Okay, and that's fine, but that means that isn't the most professional environment, is what I'm saying.
I mean, he could be
I don't
saying
know
in a
if you
sense
can
like, I'm
say
trying to
that.
be like you, like young
Right.
and
Or,
having a
or he
job.
sees the
And
clothes that the dude is wearing and assumes that it costs a lot of money or
You,
something
a
like
kid would
that.
not come
Whatever.
up to a teacher and say, "I'm trying to be like you. How do I make money?"
if
They're
he's,
look, they're
well,
look,
that's
they're,
the whole
Point.
point. If it's a
That's the
YN
point.
teacher that maybe the kid does see, like he wants to, like if he got on some like a clean fit or something, then I could see it. Clean fit,
the
expensive,
kid is
like
coming up to
he.
him looking for how to like start making money, how to get into like the working world, and how to start like an entrepreneurial like type of environment. That's what they're looking for, especially when they ask, "How do I get bread?" Like it's kind of blatantly obvious. And again, I'm not even combating. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that I'm surprised why they came to him and connected with him. I'm specifically speaking to the point of he said, "I'm nothing but a professional." That is conflicting with how someone's going to approach you. Because if he was
I
nothing but
don't think it.
professional,
I,
if he
I
was
don't.
not a professional, then even the kids around him would be speaking in a manner that's reflective of that. That's just
I
what it
don't
is.
think that's. I don't think that's. I don't think that
You think going up to
applies.
somebody
Like I
saying,
don't think. I
how do I
don't
make some
think that
bread"
they.
is professional?
Right. I don't because I don't expect a middle schooler to necessarily like completely switch up their
Do
vocabulary
you do you think
just
do you think
because
do you think
the teacher is more
do you think that young kid would
prof-
go up to an old white old Caucasian teacher and say something like that?
that is the point though. They see him as a role model, somebody that they can relate to more so than some old white
But
guy.
but say that young kid wanted to ask that teacher the same question. You think they would say that?
They might because that's their
Oh,
vocabulary.
no, okay. Yeah, okay.
That's how they're talking in middle school. But maybe they wouldn't because they know that it's going to be looked down on or a certain way or something like that. That's the point.
I'm not saying who they're more likely to or how or I'm saying if they approach these two people and ask the question of how do I make money, do you think they would ask them that like that?
They might. They might. I'm going to say they might. And I don't.
I don't believe that, and I don't believe most people would think they would do that. And especially,
Okay.
let
And
me not.
also, that is much of the point. But I think we're talking in circles.
What was that last? What was that the first thing you said?
I said. I said also that is the point again. Like I keep getting back to the point of what he's saying is that the kids feel more comfortable around him. But that's why I said I think we're talking in circles because I'm saying this.
I'm not adjusting like with their comfortability. I'm just adjusting his comment about professionalism. You can play the last one.
I wear motivate these kids. What I wear inspire these kids. Some kids are different in different environments. We're skipping levels. Before we even start showing young children how to dress sturdy and professional into suit and ties, let's teach them how to dress as a young boy in an appropriate manner. See, this is why we need black male teachers because the mindset that I have and the mindset that we all have. All right, it's time for me to see our notes. You don't have nothing down because you wrong. So that's an F. What I wear doesn't affect my kids or any kid, knowledge or future. I love inspiring kids. I love motivating kids. Not even just kids. I love inspiring and motivating people to do better things and bigger things. I'll be posting more teaching content, travel content, some fit content. Why ain't teacher? Let's change the youth.
Now, I think we've already kind of started to delve into how we kind of feel about this this dynamic and how they kind of go about their teaching styles. And a lot of it makes sense based off, the environment. Apparently, they're not apparently, but they seem to be relatively advanced for their age. So uh, as far as like their mentality and their credentials, they seem to be on point. I guess now that we kind of understand the package and their response to it, I guess it just kind of boils down to what do we think? Oh shoot, I didn't even notice what West dropped. Jesus, and he's back. What do we think? What do we make of this entire thing? And I guess I'll ask it again. Would you be 100% comfortable um, with your young child being in a classroom with this type of teacher? Um, we'll start with you, Ghost. What do you think?
I was skeptical from the first fit vid, but I think his reasoning, now that he gave it, I think I'm okay with it because it's definitely not professionalism in a conventional manner. And well, actually, I don't know. I I can I can see his vision. I'll put it like that because it seems like he's trying to redefine the how professionalism is applied to dealing with children, and he's trying to be more approachable to them and more relatable and parlay that into being a positive influence. That I can 100% get on board with. But I think that the way he's doing it is like he's trying to be their friends versus be their role model or educator, because like going back to the whole thing where y'all were talking about like how he asked, like, or how the student asked, how can I make bread? I think that's something that a student would ask a friend or like an older brother or something, but they wouldn't really be inclined to ask an educator or a role model like that. And I think that his vision is, I think his vision is admirable, but I don't think the goal should be becoming a kid's friend, because you shouldn't be their friend. You should be their teacher first and foremost. It's kind of like the whole thing with parents, where the parents want to be friends with the kids versus an authority figure. And I think it can be hard to be that authority figure if the kid sees you as on their level. So I'm not gonna come out and say like I'm 100% opposed, and like if my child was in his class, I wouldn't immediately like say, "Now pull him out." But I am very skeptical about, like, is he going to be able to enforce discipline? Is he going to be able to instruct them properly and stuff like that? But I'm more open to it than I was at the start.
Okay. Hey, what do we always say at the end of this podcast? You know, your perspective might come. Your perspective by listening to us might change a little. So that's good. That's good to hear. And I think I'm largely on board with what you're saying. But at the same time, I feel as if you can like understand like that balance and be understanding that balance. Like you do want, it is good when a teacher or a role model or a mentor, whatever the case, can have a good level of relatability with their students. But you don't want to cross that line into where they thinking, yeah, we're friends and we are on the same level, because that can
Yeah.
manifest, the way that can manifest itself is something we don't really want to see, so a lot of times.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Wes? I think you were a little on the fence before, but what do you think after we got all the context?
I think that there is a place for a part of his approach, but I think possibly he takes it too far in that, okay, I feel like the way he dresses, he probably could have reserved for like Fridays or something, just for example. And like, okay, you see that, okay, this is how he really is. He's like us, nah, nah. But also, he has a certain level of, and I don't want to compare a certain cultural aesthetic with being professional, being unprofessional, but let's just say it that way: a professionalism, but also he maybe less a little bit loose on Fridays and does a little bit different things or whatever. But you could also say that he's serving as that point within the school. Like maybe other administrators aren't like him and they're a little bit more traditional. So he's that element that they can see and reference to have a different outlook, which could be justifiable. However, I think in general for me, I think what I wanted to articulate is that, and I think you guys touched on it when you're talking about the difference between a friend and a teacher. Like I think that they need to be able to see a distinction in um in professionalism, in uh being an educator, in education, in things of that nature, and what they're used to, because they're going to get what they're used to every day when they go home, when they're with their friends, whatever. They're going to get that vibe that if they want to chill, whatever. But they need to understand that one, and not even to say that, like, again, not to say that there's a cultural, like, you can't be in a certain culture and be educated or talk about or think about educational things or whatever. But if you're going to go into, let's say, a certain industry or engineering or whatever, you're going to notice that people are this way, or they're referencing this type of material, or they're speaking a certain way. Like, not to say again it's right or wrong. I'm all for ebonics. I'm all for the validity of the way that our people
You
talk.
gotta
But
keep
again,
justifying it.
I know this is gonna be my last one. I'm all for it in being valid. Like I don't invalidate it. I don't think it's all trash and junk or whatever. But at the same time, I think that there has to be a distinction, and they have to be able to see, okay, there's a level here and there's a level there, and they they can understand that, okay, this person who is like us, because we can see, he's a little bit more relaxed or whatever, also can achieve, or also can function on this other level, and that we could be the same way, and that we can attain these heights of education, these heights of knowledge, whatever, just like him, but that he has another gear essentially, because they're going to encounter it outside of the school. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Is like the distinction between what they're used to and the world of education needs to be marked and noticed so that they can try to relate to it, to relate to that world of education, of higher education, of whatever. And I don't think that necessarily going down to their level is the only way or the way to connect to them, because I think too, being authentic and talking about what he might be into, that's not necessarily things that they're used to, can also have an effect on students and spark their interest. It doesn't need to be that, oh, I'm like you, so we all doing the same thing, and like that's the only way that we can get through. Like i think I think there's a balance that can be struck, and it seems like he's a little bit on one side of the balance. But at the same time, I've never seen the man teach a class, so I don't know how he is in an actual teaching setting and how he motivates them. So can't really say. But yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, yeah. Without actually, and it's actually good that we actually don't see him teach a class, because I think also the problematic things a lot of younger teachers run into is they want to kind of highlight via social media some of the ways they manage their class. And while that's all cute and looking on the gram, at the end of the day, we also want to be very, very mindful that a high level of privacy should be maintained when it pertains to children. So it's almost like for better or worse type of thing. What about you, Ace? Any other things we have to hash out regarding this, or are we on relatively common ground now?
I mean, I don't know. I do feel like I like Wes. The points you made are great. They all make sense, and I agree, except in relation to this teacher. Like you're saying it like he's landing on the side of being more on the too loose side, more on the too like friendly side. I don't think we've really seen that at all. Besides the fact that he posted the fit vid, even the little interaction with the kid, like that actually. What anecdote?
Yeah.
We can't talk about that again because
No,
I don't think we're gonna.
I'm just saying it's an example of how people.
I know, but oh yeah, okay, yeah, I got you. But no, I was also gonna say the kid that actually spoke up during the video, whether or not we believe that was scripted, the kid referred to him as Mr. XYZ and said it in a respectful. It wasn't, hey yo, teach, what, blah blah blah. Like they were, it sounded like any other interaction you would have with a teacher. So from the indicators that I'm getting,
not to. Go ahead. How many times have you guys asked to eat lunch with your teacher?
Oh, see, I didn't hear what they said. Okay,
and not to say that I don't think that changed anything. I'm just joking. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, my whole thing is like I don't necessarily see the he's being too friendly with the kids type thing per se, to the point where it would be like a detriment to his ability to teach the kids or even to maintain a level of discipline with the kids. Like there can easily be somebody like him teaching a class who at the same time when things get rowdy is able to put on that disciplinarian take on that disciplinarian role as well. I don't think it has to be where you have to be that stiff kind of no nonsense guy all the time. Like there can be a balance. I think it can easily be a balance. So I don't see like the potential negatives in anything he's saying, and I see the positives in what he's trying to do. So that it all makes me lean towards giving him, you could call it the benefit of the doubt or whatever. Like Wes was saying, you won't know until you see how his students are doing. Like if his students are doing terribly, then it's all moot pretty much.
Second grade, but that would suck if these students are
no. I mean, yes and no. I mean, you won't know until you see his manner of teaching and how he spurs the kids on to interest in things, because you can teach to the test, you can make kids that
is true
succeed. That's my concern with teachers and to me he gives off the impression that he's more likely to try to relate to them than to try to challenge them to. And this is not necessarily fair because I haven't seen him teach, but it's more like he would try to, I don't know, bring in a rap song and try to break it down for them and teach them some lesson, as opposed to bringing in a poem from, whatever, in general.
I don't know about this example.
Like, I don't know. I'm what? No, which is true. I'm going a little bit far. But also, but also, the fact that he mentioned that he graduated at 17 and he graduated college at 21, that also seemed a little bit strange to me to highlight. He could have said, "I'm 23 years old." He's
showcasing that from early on. He's
showcasing that he was 1 year ahead. Big deal. Like that seems like a juvenile.
No, he's trying to showcase that he's not just some. Like he said, he's not some substitute teacher. He's not a gym teacher. He's a smart guy.
I'm an actual teacher who has my degree in X. I'm 23 years old. I would never have said that.
You're being nitpicky.
I'm not. Come on. Okay, you might think so, but that seems a little bit
I think that
juvenile
worked.
to me.
I think
In
that
a
worked.
way,
I think
I
that
will
worked in
say
his
that
favor.
when he said that he graduated at 17, 20, I'm like, okay, so he's
Right.
about
it
to
was
get
1
this
year
done.
in advance. Like,
Come on, stop acting. Okay, I got a question for you,
I
Wes.
think
How long did it
that
take all
sounds
of
like-
us to graduate? Did we all graduate on time? Graduate college, that is, on time?
What? I don't remember.
No,
So I
but
don't know.
no, but that's. I don't think that feeds into the point.
That's not the point. The point is he's highlighting it. That's what kids. I'm 7.5. That's what it sounds like to me.
No, no,
Yeah.
no,
The
stop,
point is
no,
that
Bro,
it's impressive
I'm-
achievement for that age.
No, I'm going kind of.
Yeah.
I'm going kind of hard, but that's all the
No.
information I have. I feel like it's a little bit try hard. Like, we get it. You're young, but
I'll give you that with high school, but
He's real.
but finishing
I think
college
the problem
early,
is,
we
like,
know is an immaculate feat.
Yeah,
That's
he's-
my
he's
point.
budding
None of us
promise.
finished college early.
no, he started and he finished at the same 4 years. He did 4 years.
That is true. I mean, yeah,
Nothing.
got out of high
He
school
shifted
early.
1 year. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's like he graduated high school a year early, or even a few. We don't even know when his birthday is. A few months.
Oh,
early.
all right, let's
17.
put those.
Like,
This is hate.
I'm not.
Hate.
Crazy hate
Hold
right
on.
now.
I'm not.
This is hate.
Y'all, it's not hate.
Nah,
It's
come
not
on.
like-
It's just, I look at this as a positive thing, like a good
I think
thing.
we
You're-
all looked at it like he's explaining his credentials and it's positive, but I guess we.
Whenever
might
someone
have
tells me
talked
they graduated early, even if it's a year early, I'm like, oh, okay, that's impressive. because
No,
it's not easy to
okay,
graduate early.
fine. That's good if it comes up in the proper context. But to me, it feels a little bit
What
try
better
hard
context
to
is
say,
there? He's showing his credentials. Like,
no, bro.
people
You
talking about
said
how-
I
no,
graduated
Ace.
with
Oh, sorry,
my
what?
degree in X, and I am 23 years
Wes,
old. That's it.
Wes,
Well, I've
people
been
are
teaching for
talking
X amount of time. There's
specifically
another-
about how young he is. How young he is vital to the context of the story and the pushback. So bringing
How
up
young he
his
is
grad-
now. He's
Yes, and
23.
to show when he
He
graduated.
could say.
Okay,
if he
okay.
said, at least let the people do the math. If he said, I'm 23 and I've been teaching for 4 years or something like this, we say, okay, he's event. We don't need to hear I graduated
so
high
if
school
he
at
had said-
17.
if he
Like,
said
it just
that-
feels
All right.
No, because Wes, if he said that I graduated at 23 from X university, I would just assume like, oh, he did his 4 years or whatever. The fact that he has 2 extra
22
years of
is
schooling,
graduation age.
Say that again.
He graduated high school 1 year early and he did a normal 4 years of college.
17 and 23 is more than normal 4
No,
years.
no. He said he graduated at 21 instead of 22. That's it.
Oh, did I mishear? I'm thinking.
And he said, I'm currently in my master's. He's 23 years old.
That still
It's
makes
not-
it more like he has more experience. If you assume that he graduated at like 19 and then went to a 4 year, you would say, oh, he is fresh out of college. He has very little experience. He's at the extra 2 years relative to what he could have had.
We don't gotta get hung
What?
up on.
Actually,
the,
you're-
we don't gotta get hung up on
No, what are you
the
talking
schedule and timeline. Not technically, but Wes is right in what he's articulating. Technically, everything was just a year forward because technically you do typically graduate high school at 18, and you typically finish college if you are just doing the straight college route at 22. So just the fact that he's he finished at 21. Yes, we understand that. I think we all heard that, and we were still moderately impressed. But if you want to just look at it objectively, like it's not really that big of a deal, I guess you could do that. That's fine.
All I'm saying is the way it
Just
came
will
off.
rain on the parade, Wes.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a professional wouldn't have done that. A professional was somebody. If he was 5 years older, I don't think he would have done that. I don't think he would have said that. But
Okay.
either
I've
way,
heard 40-plus-year-olds say I graduated high school at 17 or so. I've heard
okay,
like,
bro.
established
In
older
what
professionals.
context? In
They're
what
in
context?
talking about, I've literally had a coworker tell me that they graduated at like 20. I can't
Yes.
remember exactly.
Okay. There's a context. You were having a conversation.
Talking
with a
about his
coworker.
work. He's talking about his schooling. That's the context, and he brought it up, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's all
Okay.
it is.
I'm not saying that he was wrong to do that. It's a completely different context. So I don't know.
All
That's
right.
all I'm saying. It
That's
betrays a certain to me, based on all the only information I have.
We got your point.
If I'm taking everything into
Let's not
account,
get too hung up.
it was something I noted. Something I noted. So anyway, either way, my point is again, I just hope that he's able to motivate students to actually having a love of learning. And
That's another thing too. I feel like it's more likely that he is able to do that based on the way he's presenting himself to the students. Again, all we've seen, all we've been able to see is professionalism. And but at the same time, obviously the students are a bit more comfortable with him. They see him. I mean, I could assume they see him as a role model figure, which I think we would all say like young black kids especially need. So it's just like it's more. To me, it's more leaning on the positive. Positive, like this is probably a good thing.
I think we see your point now as well, Ace. It's just, I guess, do you at least acknowledge that you can also understand the side that, like, you know, typically, especially as it relates to kids, the higher level of comfortability they have, while that can manifest itself in a lot of positive ways, they're more likely to maybe like lean on to what you're saying, and they might more pay attention to when you're teaching. It could also manifest itself as ways like, you know, they're trying to like dap them up. Not say that's a bad example, but they just don't respect them as much. Like you're just not going to interact with your friends the same way you interact with your teacher. Like you're gonna be a bit more foul. Like if they like you're not gonna if your friend tries to check you, like what are you talking about? Opposed if your teacher's like, hey, okay, well you need to like chill and take your time out. Well, if you're looking at your teacher like looking at a friend, you'd be like, you might be a bit, especially as a young kid, you might not. It could manifest itself in a way like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, I mean, in some ways I kind of see it, but in others I'm like, I mean, obviously, he mentioned he talked to a middle schooler, but that wasn't his student, and I'm not even saying that he shouldn't take this approach with middle schoolers as well, but second graders are not. It's hard for me to imagine second graders seeing them on their level. Like, even if you see him as a role model, even if you see okay, they're more comfortable with him. The age gap is so large between a second grader and a 23-year-old.
Kids these days, I don't know if you've been around some YN little kids,
giant children.
It's not even the size. It's like, and again, I think he's largely right. If in the classroom there's no sign of it in the dialogue and the mentality, that's one thing. But unfortunately, if the little kid does happen to stumble upon his Instagram and he's talking like this, then yeah, when they go to class, they might say, "Yo, what's cracking?" Like,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That I will say probably the one aspect that
kids probably don't say what's cracking.
I have a hard time agreeing with it is the social media aspect. It's like, I mean, that's always going to be my position. People need to be on social media less, but yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I generally, I think I like, this is the type of thing I like to see. Like we always talk about, young kids needing good role models and male role models too when they're young. Like you usually don't get that in the lower grades of preschool or elementary school. And here we have an example. It's like for me, I kind of naturally want to give the benefit of doubt and hope for the best for this. And
I feel like it would be good if he was their uncle or something.
No,
but I feel like in the classroom, like I said, he can have that But I feel like, and again, maybe he does. Maybe he has a switch that he turns on when he actually starts teaching. But I feel like he should have a distinction because
First of all, I think he does, but also at the same time, again, like it's
I think it's safe to assume he does as well.
you're saying
I think I'll
you're
give him
saying
that.
uncle, like okay, it would be okay for if he was an uncle, but I think kids should be able to see too. Like you don't have to be this stuck up, super disciplinarian guy to be even a teacher. Like
okay,
he's
okay,
showing them
but okay.
another aspect of
Think about your
professionalism.
favorite. Think about your favorite teachers, though.
Yep.
They're not. They're not necessarily stuck up disciplinarians, but they're not him.
Dog, I mean,
I don't.
I was
I
actually
don't
thinking about
understand
my
that.
favorite teacher, and he was very similar to this guy, except he was white, and he was old. But
All
at the
my favorite
same
teachers were
time,
approachable. That's the biggest thing. Like,
Exactly. I mean,
right,
approachable.
y'all,
Yes,
y'all
right.
trying to be more
but
Your
you
approachable.
don't
favorite
have
teacher
to be
didn't dress akin to what you dress like, and they
exactly.
probably didn't
He,
talk
No,
in any ways that you
they
talk.
didn't have the
100%.
same
But
slang.
if they did, it either wouldn't have made a difference, or I mean, I can't say like it would have made them more my favorite teacher, but it certainly wouldn't have been like, oh, I now I see him as my peer, so I can get away with more or less towards him. Like it would have been the same result.
And that's how I was gonna try to round it out. Like, how would you guys envision you guys as young kids interacting with teachers like this? And maybe we'll still get to that. But I think you can imagine, like, if we're not talking about us, we're talking about other kids as well. Like, other kids
Right.
might be apt to be a bit more disrespectful if they feel like they're on a similar level.
I do have
Yeah,
to
and
admit that I was one of those kids
yeah,
who like was super not even necessarily I wouldn't even I mean I was respectful of adults obviously, but also like I never saw like even kids that were older as me as my peer. You'd be a few years older than me and all of a sudden you're just on
I
another
was
level.
talking
So
about that recently.
I am different.
I think we were all kind
yeah,
of similar to that. We're like, we're gonna be as respectful as possible, no matter who we're interacting with.
Yeah.
yeah, and the approachableness is a really good way to put it. I think Go said it. Is you can be super professional, super passionate, but if you're genuine and approachable, there will be kids in that class who are you're their favorite teacher. It's that like, and it doesn't have to be that you're necessarily talking in their slang all the time. Like you can be a square and still be the favorite if you are
That's true.
motivating them, if you're passionate, if you're approachable. Like I think those are the
That's
biggest
true.
things. So I just hope like okay, I hope that he's not using this as a proxy or as a substitute for actually being those other things. That's all I'm saying. Because you can try to apply that to get to their level, but not take care to do the other things. And that's what I'm saying. I don't,
Yeah,
and
that
based
makes
on
sense.
the little information I have, I don't know if he's doing it.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. I'll actually kind of close this out. I think, well, one, I don't think this will be the last time you bump into a young teacher that's trying to respond to criticisms about how they interact in the school. But I also want to spend a little time to just even though some of my demeanor might land towards I'm not rocking with any of this, I will say one thing you do gotta do is give this brother tremendous props because I'm on record. Like I'm very conscious of the fact that a lot of brothers and men in general aren't very inclined to take on this type of role and environment. You know, you see a lot more women in these educational spaces and working with kids than men because of factors, status that comes with it, financials and that come with it, and maybe that's why he's inclined to do some of the social media activity to kind of build a brand and name for himself. But it's 100% dope and needed because you do need a diversity in all spaces, and yeah, it's good to see young boys and young girls kind of see like a teacher like him in this space. So kind of you're not just boxed into thinking, all right, this is not a viable route for me to take. And dang it, that's why. And I also kind of want to go down the route of. I guess I'll just kind of briefly speak on it. I also, and if you know anything about me, the other thing where I can kind of get on board with this because I'm not opposed to I don't want to say dismantling, but potentially rewriting what people kind of perceive when they think about professionalism. Because you know me, I'm all about being professional, but I'm not really with the whole suit and tie and like you have to wear certain suits, things type of thing. Like I don't think all that's necessary. So even there's probably a world in which even like if I'm in a professional setting, if I was in a professional setting, people might look at what I'm, wearing, and they might, oh, you're not really fitting the bill of what we're thinking when we think of professionalism. So, I would never like come at somebody for that specifically. I guess the last thing that comes to my mind is I would hope a person like this, him, like anybody else that's kind of like younger and acting in a manner which they're young, like obviously there's nothing wrong with coming on social media and like combating the criticisms or like defending yourself to a extent. I just hope he's not like outright surprised why somebody would have a comment about it. Like obviously you know for a fact you're doing something that's out of the ordinary, so let's be conscious of that. And I'm pretty sure he isn't. Is.
I want to touch on the outfits really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does anybody here? Because maybe it's just me, but I think there should also be a distinction between what you wear normally and what you wear at work. Not to say that you have to dress a certain way.
What if what you normally
at least,
is,
especially if you're public facing too, especially
what
if it's not like internal customers. You always wear business casual even when you're lounging at home.
I'm just talking.
Or you're working out. I mean, not. I'm just,
wait, hold on.
I'm saying like
what you said, what you normally wear, and then what you wear at work. I'm saying, what if what you normally wear when you outside? No one wears what they're wearing at work, what they lounge in, or what they go to the gym in.
He looks like he lounges in that New Balance shirt and the sweatpants. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
My part. I thought you were talking about us or in general.
No, bro. I don't even think I don't think I dress up that much, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I'll say this. I wear to work. I often wear what I wear. I don't want to say lounging around the house, but like if I'm going out to like Walmart or something, I wear sweats like 90% of the time I'm in work, and hoodies like all the time.
Okay.
Granted, it's not a public-facing job, and if I have a meeting, then I'm dressing up. But if it's a regular work day, I'm wearing sweats and hoodies 90% of the time.
But why do you dress up if it's a meeting or if it's public-facing?
Because it's more professional than usual and matching the vibe of everyone else is there.
Do you think there's any value in it? In itself?
Yeah, because if I don't dress up that way, then it'll seem like I'm treating it casually and not serious as I should be. But that's because of the vibe that's at the meetings.
But do you ever think there's a value in treating the thing as distinct from every other day or every other customer, every other situation? Do you ever think that there's a place for dressing up in a context to separate to separate that occasion from other occasions?
I don't dress, I guess, I'm kind of not following your point. I dress up in a certain setting as it's applicable or as it's as it fits.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it is for me. Like I don't go.
Okay, I mean,
is this outfit appropriate for this level? I don't know. I kind of don't understand your question.
I will show my hand and just say, I will show my hand. I will just say that I think there is value in treating a situation differently and dressing a certain way to mark an occasion or a specific context. And I think that it helps to distinguish different events. And there is an intrinsic value in it, not because society says so and it's just like this. I think that there is an intrinsic value in that. So treat it how you will, apply it to what degree you will, but I think that there's something to it.
Well, let's know what he said about it too. Is he's doing it because he's trying to show young kids like not how they should dress, not necessarily how they should dress, 20 years down the line, but now, like, he's trying to be a good influence for in that way as well.
I don't understand.
Like he said, he's trying to show kids how they should dress in school, not necessarily how he should dress professionally or how people are expected to dress professionally, but he's trying to show the kid how they should dress.
Oh, my thing is they're gonna like just like the cultural context. They're gonna get their culture inside and outside of school, among their peers. So I don't think he necessarily needs to show them anything. They're gonna dress like that already. Like, what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess that
They don't need to be taught
I can't
their own
imagine. I
culture.
can't imagine what per se they would be doing that would be different than what he's dressed, the way he's dressing. I mean, back in the day for us, it would have been sagging our pants. Though. Like if a teacher came in dressed like us but with their pants on their waist, it would have been. It would have been.
Maybe
it could have been influential in that way. But I don't know how kids dress nowadays, anyway.
They dress like that. But he was dressing on Wednesday. That's what they dress like. Awesome. We can come back to because you do go down an interesting conversation, Wes, of like the distinction. Should there be a distinction in how you dress in other different environments? To be honest, I kind of interesting to have that view. I feel as if I might be antithetical to that. I think I might even be on record. Like, I kind of can imagine a world in which if what you wear is suited for multiple occasions, I can imagine a world in which I just wear the same thing in all spaces. But
always wear a suit and tie.
Yeah, you could just always wear a suit and tie. But we'll definitely bump to that conversation. I'm gonna note it. If there's nothing else, and let's try to have nothing else, we can move on to the next topic.